This is the final honest look on the titular Nakano quintuplets and will contain spoilers up through chapter 90. Full disclosure, Itsuki Nakano is my favorite character in the entire show. She has my favorite design, she has many of my favorite interactions with Futaro, and whereas Miku is the most relatable, Itsuki is the most ideal. She is what I would want from a girlfriend. She is, however, a very hard character to pin down. Unlike her sister, she never acts in any kind of direct manner. When she first gave a hint of romantic feelings, it was with an obscure folklore reference about the moon. When she wanted to know if Futaro was capable of caring for them, she took on disguises. She rarely ever does anything major as Itsuki, and for some, that can make her characterization flat or non-existent. But that indirect nature is her character. Itsuki was the first to follow Yotsuba's example and distinguish herself with her accessories. She was also the clingiest to their mother, a fact that has popped up a few times throughout the series. Her fixation on her mother could be why she takes such an interest in Raiha, and why she starts giving Futaro a chance when she sees his living situation. It's explicitly why she's so cautious around him and guys in general, it's why she chose the name Rena for one of her alter egos, and it's why she wants to be a teacher. She's also the only one with a legitimate grievance against Futaro. She saw that he was an A student and wanted to get her grades up after what happened at their previous school, and he turned her down and was very rude about it. He only apologized when he was hired to be their tutor just a few minutes later, and this actually made things worse. Had he just apologized that day in class, he could have avoided trouble. But he put off any apology until he was supposed to meet with all of them, and this colored her perception of Futaro. He's a self-absorbed prick who only cares about money, and even after seeing his situation, Itsuki keeps him at arm's length, preferring to study alone. Her next confrontation with Futaro happened in the lead up to the midterms. Futaro was given an ultimatum, and instead of being honest with Itsuki, he doubled down and tried being overbearing, and it ended up being rude. This had the opposite of the desired effect. Itsuki, despite her tough outer shell, is arguably the most sensitive of the girls, and Futaro made her feel like a burden, even though her stubbornness is what's the burden. Again, a little honesty could have done these two a lot of good. She tried proving her point when Futaro stayed the night. She put her hair down like Miku and greeted him in the morning. He saw through the disguise because he actually already saw Miku that morning. And then with a little help from Ichika, he ended up patching things up, pretending to mistake her for Miku later on. He knew she's Itsuki, and she knows he's seeing through her disguise, but the act allows her to let her guard down and be honest with him for the first time. She really does want his help. She doesn't want to be a burden. She wants to help him and Raiha. She wants to get the best grade she can. She's the most diligent of the quints, but she's no more intelligent than Ichika or Nino. Even with all her studying, she only places second or third amongst the girls on any given test. She had a similar test in store during the bonfire arc. She started feeling even more cautious when she saw Ichika looking over his sleeping body, so she disguised herself as Ichika as a bit of a test, and ended up causing him even more problems, getting him even sicker than he already was. Racked with guilt, she is the first to hold his hand at the bonfire and the first to declare a desire to learn more about him. See, his actions and words don't line up at this point. He wants money to support his family. This is why he helps the quints with their grades. But then why does he go out of his way to help them during the fireworks and bonfire arcs? This strikes at her curiosity and drives her to ask that question. Why does he study so hard? She's the first person to ask, and she's the first person he tells about the girl in the picture and the promises they made to each other. Through this, Itsuki forms a deeper understanding of him, and during 7 Goodbyes, sees how far he's willing to go to help them not just study, but stay together as a family. She's the only one who knew his situation, and in the beginning of the arc was the only one who knew why he was late, and so she got offended at Nino's attitude and slapped some discipline into her. Itsuki ended up running to Futaro's house and hung out with Raiha. It's here she ends up getting some alone time with Futaro and first expresses her love for him, though he either doesn't take the hint or thinks she doesn't understand the meaning of those words. Had he understood she was being honest, things would have gone very differently. Either way, Itsuki and Yotsuba conspired to help Futaro by denying their own happiness to get him to move on from the girl in his past. At this point, Futaro was too hung up on his expectations for the girl, and the quints, especially Yotsuba, could not live up to that ideal. So they let him go, hoping that by bringing him to the present, they'll be happy in the long run as his friends. After hearing what Futaro had to say about all of them, Itsuki was ready to apologize to Nino, and they were able to return home together. Thus begins the next chapter in all their lives, living away from their father. To help pay for this, Itsuki keeps things discreet, taking a job as a food critic because they don't call her Itsuki for nothing. I love all the relationships in this series, but the ultimate OTP is Itsuki x Meat Buns. In the lead up to the final exam, Itsuki found out more about her mother from one of her former students. She inspires Itsuki to become a teacher like her mother before her, and this serves to drive Itsuki into doing her absolute best, which is still 3rd place in the final exams. Oof. During Scrambled Egg, she paired off with Futaro, getting his help to figure out what's been bothering all the girls. And in return, she helps him find out which of them was the fake Itsuki that tried cutting ties with him. And here, we get back-to-back moments showing her growth, identifying him as a genuine friend, which is a far cry from what she called him in the fireworks arc, and to consummate that friendship, she tries joining him in the bath because, need I remind you, these are hormonal teenagers, and hormonal teenagers are awkward hormonal messes. Itsuki is just really thirsty to go along with her never-ending hunger. She does end up discovering that Miku was the fake Itsuki, and then she convinced Miku to test Futaro one more time. In the following week, she paired off with a couple different people. Nino discovered that she is the mysterious food critic Mei, Yotsuba asks her to be class rep, and Futaro confides in her about Nino and Ichika's confessions, right as she was planning on telling him about Rena. During the Sister War, she broke out the Rena outfit again for reasons that have yet to be clarified. He refused to participate in any more of their games and told her off, and this hurts Itsuki because, I can only guess, she's trying to rekindle his feelings towards that girl to hook him up with Yotsuba. If all the girls are going to be going after him, might as well help the one who loved him first. And when it backfires, she's actually hurting Yotsuba's chances, but at the end of the trip, he meets up with her anyway and thanks her, thus bringing an end to the arc. Itsuki is hard to pin down. Her overall goal is still unclear. We know she wants Futaro to know the truth, but to what end? We'll just have to keep reading to find out. Like I said, she's my favorite character, but funny enough, she's my least favorite love interest. I just don't see a satisfying romantic connection between the two. I've always wanted her to be the best friend that pushes Futaro into accepting his own feelings towards the girl that he marries, and right now, it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. Join me next time when I wrap up this Gotoban on his Look series with the main man himself. I'm Mediocrity Ford, thanks for watching.